What's going on, Washington fans? We're back with another video, and in today's video, as I do, I bring you every single Terry McLaurin update, everything that comes out about Terry McLaurin. We got another Terry McLaurin update here. It's a really good news for the Commanders. It's something that we thought, but I did want to, kind of confirm that news to you. Before we get to that, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. On the road to 2,000 subscribers. I cannot do it without you. Hit that notification bell as well. So, Commanders do not intend to trade wide receiver Terry McLaurin, per Dan Graziano of ESPN. He writes, he's believed to be looking for a contract worth north of $30 million per year, and the fact he turns 30 next month appears to be the sticking point from the team's perspective. Now, this is nothing we didn't know besides the trade part. We don't know if Adam Peters has something up his sleeve. Adam Peters is a guy that you never know his next move. So it's good to hear that Dan Graziano says they do not intend to trade Terry McLaurin. And by the way, just to address the Twitter post of some account named NFL Rumors with a Terry McLaurin and Dolphins, picture. He said they've been talking. They have not. That's not true at all. Terry McLaurin is not going to be traded from the Washington Commanders. Just because you ask for a trade doesn't mean you will be traded. Just because you're not getting your money, you can't just leave, right? He's still currently under contract. So he's believed to, want roughly what DK Metcalf has, which is $33 million a year. And the team just doesn't want to pay him that at 30 years old. I think Terry McLaurin is asking for too much money, but I also think the team is not offering him enough money, right? We got reports from Stephen A. Smith the other day that the team is offering Terry McLaurin $27 million a year. I don't think that's true because I'm not going to trust Stephen A. Smith. Anybody that does is just a lunatic, but I think they're probably offering him $25 to $26 million. I think that's disrespectful. I think they need to come up. I think both sides should meet in the middle at around $30 million. I get Adam Peters doesn't want to be, the guinea pig and the first guy to pay a guy over 30 years old $30 million. I get that, but you're going to have to realize the value that Terry brings to this team, what he can still do. He only has 7 years on his legs. He doesn't have much tread on the tires, so he's going to have to come to a realization of that, and Terry McLaurin's going to have to come to a realization, I'm not going to get paid that. I'm going to have to come down. If we both sides want to, be together this year, we're going to have to cooperate with each other, okay? So that's what they're going to have to do, but right now both sides are being stubborn. So we just get more news that confirms Terry McLaurin's not going to be traded. This is what we thought, right? The team is really struggling right now to contact Terry and stuff, and the team has not made any progress, not that I've heard. They seem still about $5 to $10 million apart on this contract situation. We head into joint practices on Wednesday, and we said this was going to get done by joint practices. We said this was going to get done by training camp. We said this was going to get done by mandatory minicamp. We said this would be done before OTAs. But here we are, and it's not. So how long are we going to kick the can down the road? How long are we going to keep saying it's going to get done? Okay, that's my thing. So I would love to see Terry McLaurin out there at joint practices. I would love to see this full team. I would love to go beat the Patriots up tomorrow, but we're not going to have Terry McLaurin, and that's going to really, really hurt. So I'm sure he'll get fined, for not flying with the team or whatever, not going, but he's not going if he doesn't have a contract. Okay, that's what people don't understand. He's not just going to go. He's not just going to give up his stance and leave. He did request a trade, as we know, last week, but the Commanders do not intend to trade him, per Dan Graziano. So I just wanted to bring you this great update for the Commanders. There's been a lot of things thrown out. There's been a Micah Parsons and Terry McLaurin trade thrown out as they both have requested trades. That's not happening. The Commanders are not trading Terry McLaurin. The Commanders are not trading for Micah Parsons. They don't have the draft picks to do so. They have 5 draft picks in next year's draft. We've heard, earlier, we've heard Tyreek Hill and Terry McLaurin, a trade for those two. No, that's not happening. That's unrealistic. That's not happening. So, bottom line is the Commanders are not trading Terry McLaurin. Bottom line is Terry McLaurin has asked for a trade, and he's not going to get one. And bottom line is Terry McLaurin can't play with resentment because he doesn't have the leverage. If he plays with resentment next year because he didn't get a contract or he didn't get paid, then nobody's going to want to pay him. Nobody in free agency next year is going to want to pay him. The team might not even want to pay him. Okay, so he's got to go out and ball if he's under this current contract. But we all hope he gets extended, because if you spread the money out, you'd probably save money as an organization for the Commanders. But why would Adam Peters want to pay Terry McLaurin $30 million under a contract when he's 31 years old? You know, when this contract kicks in, if they extend him, he would be 31 years old. So why would they want to pay him $30 million if they could just keep him under his current contract, pay him, $15 million this year, franchise tag him next year, and then have to pay him $28.4 million if you franchise tag him? So you could just agree on a contract that's $28.4 million, but is Terry McLaurin going to do that? Is his camp going to accept that? I believe a big problem is Buddy Baker, Terry McLaurin's agent, and we've went over this, but I'll go over it again. Buddy Baker's biggest client is Terry McLaurin. His second biggest client, his name is something Wharton. I'm forgetting the first name. He's making $15 million. His third client, the third highest client is Jeremy Chin, who makes $8 million with the Raiders, $8 million a year. He has never closed a big deal. He's trying to feed Terry McLaurin, saying, "Oh, we're going to get you this money. Oh, you're going to get a big contract. Oh, you're better than DK. You're going to get more than him." But at the end of the day, he's older than everyone, and he is not going to get that money. And it's not Adam Peters' fault that they overpaid Terry McLaurin. Not DK Metcalf. It's not Adam Peters' fault that they overpaid DK Metcalf. So that kind of threw a wrench into everything, right? This is a very analytics-based group. When you look at the front office, Brandon Sosna, right? Adam Peters, Josh Harris. It's not just Adam Peters in this, by the way. It's Sosna. It's Harris. I think I'm saying that right. It's Harris. It's Lance Newmark. It's guys like that, and they are a very analytics-based group. And the analytics say that guys that are over 30 years old, they tend to slow down at the wide receiver position. That's what the analytics say. So, you know what Adam Peters and Lance Newmark and Josh Harris are going to go off of? They're going to go off that the analytics say that he's going to slow down. Okay, no matter what he's done in the past. The problem with this is it's not about what he's gone through. It's not about what he's done in the past. It's what are you going to do for me in the future? That's the problem with this. Because if we were just going off of a pity story, if we were just going off of what Terry McLaurin's done for this team, if we were going off of who's been the best player the last 4 years for this team, Terry McLaurin would have gotten his money. It's not just, I've heard fans yelling at Adam Peters at practice and stuff. Like, I've heard stories of it. And it's like, why are you yelling at Adam Peters? It's not just Adam Peters. Obviously, Josh Harris, obviously Lance Newmark, obviously Sosna, obviously Peters are all in agreement over Terry McLaurin. They think he's going to slow down and they don't want to pay him this money. So yell at all of them because they have to be all in agreement. If the other guys were saying pay Terry McLaurin, you know what Adam Peters would do? They would pay Terry McLaurin. But everyone's in agreement in the front office, and they're a heavily analytics-based group. So that's where we stand right now with the contract situation, but doesn't look good for Terry McLaurin. He's going to probably have to just show up on his current contract. Like, are they going to get anything done? Probably not at this point, which sucks. I really want Terry McLaurin to get paid. I think he deserves it, but this is the problem when you don't have enough urgency. You say, oh, it'll get done by OTAs. It'll get done sometime. We don't have to fool with this now. It's a problem when you don't have urgency. It's a problem right now. So probably not going to get a contract, but probably going to miss joint practice Wednesday, sadly. We're not going to be able to see what we fully have. Going to force, like Cliff Kingsbury said, Luke McCaffrey's had to play the outside a lot this year because, guys have been forced to stand up into different positions. Luke McCaffrey's played the outside this year. Guys like Chris Moore have been getting reps with the ones. Deebo Samuel hurt his finger because he's getting so many freaking catches, right? Not exactly, but so there's the latest on Terry McLaurin. The Commanders are not going to trade Terry McLaurin, but they're not close to a deal. Neither side has budged yet, and we have a football game Friday. It's game week for the Commanders, so we got to lock in and get this thing done. We got to lock in, and they have to get him a contract, and this is only going to get worse for Adam Peters, right, in the situation on his hands. But this is your wide receiver one. This is your best weapon on the team. If you don't have Terry this year, you have no Super Bowl. So got to get him under contract. Or, well, not under contract. He is under contract, but extended. We'd love that to happen. So we'll see what ends up happening with this, but just wanted to bring you the latest update. Terry McLaurin is not, the Commanders do not intend to trade Terry McLaurin per Dan Graziano. That's all I got for right now. Have a great night. I'll be on Reedy and Z at 9 o'clock. Check me out on there. It's going to do it for me. Peace.